Hey, it's still Zach. It's still May 23rd. I was watching my other vlog that I was going to put up. I decided not to put it up because I don't think I said the stuff that I wanted to say, that I wanted to get out about this. So here's what I want to say. The second part was about dating, online dating. I mentioned that I had a photo shoot with Maggie on Saturday, which I did. I also had another photo shoot and a date lined up for Saturday. The other photo shoot got canceled. And then my date got canceled too. But the girl canceled it in probably the best way that I could ask for. She was straight up, she was polite. I was just about to walk out the door. I was looking sexy. I looked real good. I was feeling good. I had 6 hours of sleep, so I was tired as hell, but I was feeling good. Well, I'm just about to leave, like I said, and then I checked my phone to make sure we're still good, and I get this message from her. And she said, hey, I'm sorry, I just don't think I can handle online dating right now. I think it's too much for me, and all of this. And that's basically what it said. It just one quick paragraph, is polite and nice, but straight up. And I said, okay, well, hey, I know there's a lot of pressure going on with online dating. Are you sure maybe we could try it where it's just low key, low pressure? I'm not going to take notes on you. Maybe that would make you feel better. And she said, no, I just don't think I'm up for it. So I'm sorry, but I hope you found what you're looking for. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. I wish you well too. And then she removed me. So key difference there. Most people will ghost you, guys and girls. I guess guys, I've heard ghost girls. I know that enough girls have ghosted me. So if I'm going to get a point where somebody doesn't want to talk to me anymore, that's the best way. And we've been talking for about a week. I thought she was pretty cool. It's the first girl that I've talked to for a little while on the apps anyway, where I thought we connected, or at least had the potential to connect. So that was kind of nice. But it made me realize something that I've been thinking about for a while, which is essentially like, I'm asking myself if I still even want to date at this point. And not one of those like, oh, all the girls hate me, or I hate all the girls, there's nobody for me. It's like, it's not that at all. It's just, it's fatigue. It's honestly fatigue. And it's not just going on dates fatigue and it not going anywhere, because I went on a couple dates where I've just said the same thing. I learned a while ago to do it that, or approach it that way when you're not interested in somebody, is to say, hey, straight up, you were fun, I liked you, but I don't think I want to be with you. I don't think I want to pursue being with you. And it sucks, but they get it. And that's what happens to me too, is it sucks, but I get it. So it's not just that. What is it? What else is making me not want to date or not want to put in the work anymore? And there was a Reddit post that I happened to see that I saved and I thought hit the nail on the head. And I'm saying this as a straight guy looking for a girl in a monogamous relationship, and my camera is all over the place. So all I'm saying is this hit the nail on the head for me, looking for a girl in a monogamous relationship. I have a big ass canker sore right in my tongue. So I'm not just gasping for air here, but the prompt was, what is one thing you wish you didn't have to do to court women? And there's two parts. The first part is what hits. It is, be the initiator of basically everything while having to periodically calibrate what I'm doing and not doing to keep her comfortable and entertained and attracted while making sure I'm not getting played. I would add on to that by saying, and also to make sure I'm not being overbearing or annoying. The second part, he said, was, it's actually taught me that if that's your experience with a woman, then she probably doesn't like you as much as you like her, because I promise there's a guy that she'd put in a hell of a lot more effort to be with. And I think that's true too, but I don't think it's pertinent to what I'm talking about necessarily. The first part is what gets me, because the more that I tried to understand the game, the more I tried to to position myself in a spot where I could be ready to field things that might come up, right? Because when you're dating in the vanilla world, it's really just all about, you're supposed to know. You're supposed to already know the rules to this game. When you're playing the game, you're supposed to already know the rules of the game. That's how you judge how good a prospective person you're going to be with really is at dating. It seems like this seems to be the unwritten rule. And if they don't know something, then you can think, well, gosh, like they didn't know they were supposed to pay for their half. Or if maybe it's a traditional, this thing's gonna run all over, but maybe it's a traditional date, it's like the guy asked me out and then he didn't offer to pay. Something along those lines. Just things that you should know depending on the people you're dating and the situation that you're dating in. Do they know the rules? Whatever. So I have tried to position myself to be able to know what all the rules are, right? From my own observations, from watching videos and things like that, and asking friends, and doing all that. And it seems like it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's not that I'm trying too hard, right? Because I'm keeping myself out of like nice guy territory here and all of that kind of stuff. I'm respecting myself. I'm not going further than I think I need to go. I'm not being a fedora or something crazy like that. It's like I'm trying to just be realistic, respect myself, respect them, and find somebody that I genuinely want to be with. And I wonder if I can put this block up here. And that's the idea. So where does this really fit in with what he said? Well, it's the idea of trying to periodically calibrate what I'm doing and not doing. That's the part that is fatiguing the hell out of me. It's not like I'm trying to be somebody else or trying to be that idea of, oh, well, what is she like? I need to play to that. But what you learn is that it seems like there's one formula for every girl, and there's not. It's every girl is different. One girl is going to be offended by this thing that you had no idea. It was innocuous. Another girl is not going to care about that, but she's going to be offended about something else. So it's stuff like that to where I just don't know, and I'm getting fucking sick of trying to figure this shit out, because once you hit one of those items, you are basically gone. You have a certain amount of points. You need to have this many points to proceed to date number 2. And if you do something that you have no idea could have even been something to watch out for, it's just something that it's not anybody's fault. It's just the way that dating works, and you are just out. For instance, I went out with a girl, super great. We connected well enough to say, hey, do you want to go to the cities with me? I want to go to this awesome cheese shop there and come back. And we're a ways away from the cities. And she trusted me enough, and we connected well enough to say, yeah, I'd like to go with you. So we did. And I made the mistake of using the word cripple, which I'm from the 80s. I'm born in the 80s. That was the generation that I was around, and it was like on Ren and Stimpy. It's like, oh, that guy's a cripple, or on The Simpsons or whatever. It doesn't seem like it's an offensive word because I wasn't using it offensively. However, what I could not know is that her dad has been gratuitously injured, and I would have had no idea of knowing it, but that was a very offensive word for her. So even though I said I was sorry, and I've never had anybody say that or come to a situation like that, and I wasn't using it offensively, it came off as something that's just going to be stuck. It's a thorn that's going to be stuck in our relationship going forward, and that just didn't help. So there was no way to know that. And that's happened with other girls too, where it's like, okay, something's going to come up that I talk about all the time and is innocent to most people, and I have no idea that it's going to be offensive to this person or affect them, but it's going to. And this is something that I often see now that I've noticed it, and it's tough. That's what's so fatiguing, is it's just like it's like every time you go out with a girl, or for me, like I said, it's for girls, so I'm going to say it that way. Whenever I go out with a girl, I feel like I'm rolling the dice. And it's not just I'm rolling the dice on her personality, I'm rolling the dice on completely random attributes that I don't know about and that I have to navigate around. Once I have to look for the signs of them. This is just one thing. Look for the signs of maybe what it might be, and then try and navigate around that as best I can. And I want to put out there, nobody else expects this. Nobody is making me do this. Nobody is telling me I didn't go out with you because you did this. But if you want a relationship to run smooth, or if you want a date to run smooth these days, it almost feels like this is the price of admission. Is you have to be able to navigate this stuff. I don't know what it's like from the girl's point of view or their side. They have enough stuff to deal with, with feeling safe in general going on dates. So luckily I haven't really felt that way, but I have to this is the stuff that I deal with, is what is going to be safe territory but still edgy enough to keep her interested. What is going to be enough to impress her, to keep her attention. This, when he says the initiator of basically everything, my experience has been that girls like to do things, but what the case is more often than not, at least for, I guess, a traditional heterosexual relationship, is that it seems like girls like to do things and they want to see if you're going to initiate the things that they like to do, but you don't know necessarily what they like to do, like what their core stuff is they like to do, and so that's kind of how they seem to choose. And this is all conjecture. I don't know this. This is what I've just been observing. But for instance, it's like maybe she'll say, "Oh yeah, I like to go boogie boarding or whatever." But what she really likes to do is she really likes to go to Japanese restaurants and try different kinds of sushi. And you have what, three chances to try and initiate the sushi thing. And if you hit it, then you're good. But if you don't hit that, there's a good chance she might not tell you these things. And so it's like, well, maybe you could have been in a good second date or something, but like you're supposed to kind of already know these things. And I'm generalizing horribly, but that's kind of the overall impression. And these are the things that are making me tired, because it's enough energy to do it with one date, but to keep doing it for each one. And then on top of that, talking on an app and trying to get somebody's attention, because there are so many people for both sides to try and go with, that you have to stand out, and you have no idea what's going to stand out. It's the same idea as I was saying. You need to almost have the right repertoire to line up with theirs, and then they go with you, because they won't say all the time, "Hey, I like this. Do you like this?" What's attractive is if you already like those things and are going forward down that road, and they say, "Oh, I love that," and it's like they happen to be they happen upon you who likes the same things they do, and it's so fatiguing to do this kind of stuff. And I just have been asking myself if this is worth it at this point, because there's different stages. You have to go on the app. You have to do what I was saying, try and find somebody, which luckily Hinge has been very nice to me. I've got a good profile. I feel like I can express myself true to myself. I've been getting matches, and then I'll talk to somebody, but you have to be just edgy enough to keep their attention, but safe enough to where they're not going to spook them. And it's the same situation as before, where it's a completely random game, because some people will be totally fine with going to Snapchat. Some girls think that Snap is only for people who want you to send nude, or who only want them to send nudes to. And then one girl, we've been talking for a week, and I said, "Hey, would you want to go to Snap or talk on the phone?" And she got like scared, and she's like, "No, I haven't had very good experiences outside of staying on here, so okay, goodbye." And it's like, well, why don't we just stay on the fucking app then and keep talking? Why is asking to go on another communication platform such a giant snafu and taboo thing? Because that's what you're supposed to do. If you're looking at this, you want to go on the app, find somebody, get them off that app as soon as you can, so that you stand out as somebody that they might want to keep talking to. It doesn't mean, "Hey, do you want to talk on Snapchat, aka meet in a dark alleyway without your friends and I have a knife." It's like, no, I just want to talk to you somewhere else. And so because there is no way to know what's going to happen with any given person, there isn't continuity. There's only rough continuity, and it's just draining. And as far as the calibration thing, I talked about it a little bit earlier, and I'm probably repeating myself a little bit, but it's like you have to adjust yourself, because a lot of girls are kind of like sparrows. They spook easily. And I get they spook. I get why, right? Like safety concerns, totally a thing. But it's just that it feels, might not be the way that it is. And it's probably the other way too for girls and guys. But it feels like interest balances on the head of a pin. And like I was saying earlier, you have to have so many points to keep it balanced. And one wrong thing that you didn't know you said might throw you right off. And that's really what the calibration thing is like. So you try and avoid things that might be too edgy and whatever, or not even edgy, just things that might be something that would make her lose interest. Not just lose interest, go even further, like start to be disinterested in you, but you want to keep it enough so that she keeps interest. And obviously, from having a relationship recently that was pretty intense, I know that there are girls out there that I'm interested in and who are interested in me. And it gave me hope to still keep looking for somebody, but it's just so tiring. And the more that I try and figure out the formula or the guideline, the more it's just like, well, is this even worth it at this point? Because what if you get in a relationship, which is a thing now that I've seen a lot, because I go on Ask Men all the time and relationship stuff I like to look at and browse on Reddit and lurk, and a lot of it's just like, not only do you have to try and convince somebody to go out with you, or convince somebody that you're cool enough to go on a date with, but then you have to be on the date, and I feel like I have to constantly try and, with the initiator part, try to keep driving the conversation to areas that that I'm hoping are going to be things she likes, which will get me a second date because I have enough points to keep the interest and get to the second date, and then do it all over again, and hopefully I can gauge how comfortable we both are to start getting into deeper questions and make sure we're okay that way. But then let's say we get into a relationship and we're boyfriend and girlfriend, it's a lot of people I am seeing are almost having to upkeep that. And upkeeping a relationship is fine, right? Maintaining a relationship is fine. But almost trying to convince somebody that they should still stay with you is something that I feel like is a product of the new online dating app age. Like, what I always pictured was you find somebody you like, you date, take it slow, easy, it's fun, you get in a relationship with them, and then you just go do things that you both like. But it feels like now everybody's so worried because of, I don't know if all the choice or what, but that you might go to somebody else, or you're worried that they're going to go with somebody else because of how easy it is to meet people. And there's just this sense of anxiety that I never planned for when I was trying to figure out how to date girls. And it's just like, not only do you have to try and impress them to get the date, and then a second date, and then go out with you in a relationship, but then you have to almost keep the points going so that they keep interest. And so there's another Reddit post that I really liked where he was giving advice to somebody wondering if they should break up with their girlfriend, and he said, to paraphrase, I'm not going to be the kind of person who has to convince somebody who's in a relationship with me why they should still like me. You know, I agree. Like, somebody is going to be with you because they like you, and if they don't think they do, it shouldn't be on you to go and convince them. One of my other friends said, no, I'm not the kind of guy who tries to convince girls why they should be with me. Like, if you want to be with me, then you do. But I'm not going to try and go out of my way to throw you applications and brochures and be like, this is why you should date me. It's just, it's so exhausting. I just want a girl that I can relax with and go hang out on a boat with or whatever, or drive around and sit in a thunderstorm with my T-tops, my glass T-tops, and watch the rain and the lightning. That's the kind of stuff I want to do. I don't want to have to be worried about why I'm still a good pick even though we're already going. And just to clarify, that's not what was happening with my last relationship, but that's something that I've been noticing trending on Reddit since I've been looking again, is just like having to try and convince somebody why they should still go out with you is fucking ludicrous. Like, they should just break up at that point, or rethink, or communicate. One of those things. I don't know. This has been my TED Talk. Thank you for listening.